I think that trains are the most poetic way to travel. They're also a very meditative form of transport. The other thing I love about them is to do with labour. What I don't understand about our sort of car-driven world is that 100 people driving cars is 100 people working, whereas 100 people on a train is one driver driving and 100 people being free to let their mind wander and do whatever they like.
Only looking through all the mergers do I understand.
Railland is a tour where every show is designed so that myself and the audience can take a train to and from the show. And the idea was to travel every affordable public transport line in the country. So tonight, Railland travels to Paekakariki, where I'm playing at St. Peter's Village Hall, and we've mapped out an itinerary so that the audience can get on a train in Wellington at 6:44 p.m, arrive at the venue at 7:30, and the show is very strictly timed so that people can take the 10 p.m. train home.
Be the air around her. Hear the secrets she might tell. Then, but not now.
So the Kapiti line glides over both Wellington and Porirua Harbour. It has this spooky time in the dark in the Tawa Tunnel, and you get this incredible view of Kapiti Island as you glide over Pukerua Bay. Having the train journey as part of the experience of the show has been really interesting. With just the rumbling of the train and the way that people gradually started to say hello to the people and the carriages next to them, by the time we got to our destination, there was just this incredible energy. Everybody, felt connected to some kind of common thing. So I do think that it does really change the show to have that time beforehand.
Welcome to the Railland tour.
Paekakariki Station to me is a symbol of the New Zealand railway network. In the 90s, after a lot of these railways were closed, these beautiful stations that were made of New Zealand native timber were torn down. A town actually had to fight NZ Rail just to keep it there, and then they had to renovate it themselves. And that's exactly what Paekakariki did. They fought to keep it there, and then they raised the funds themselves. And now it just looks glorious.
Well, bury your anger tonight, bury your frustration, bury the signs you may have missed. And though it might appear only answer.
Some time ago I shrunk my setup so that I could have this kind of one-person band thing where I've got a drum machine going and I can make lots of things happen at once while having a relatively light setup. And that's kind of what led me towards this, the idea that I can make a large sound but travel very lightly. I've done a lot of touring this year and I wanted this tour to be special and something different, and the way that I did that is to build this very bespoke set, which is a mixture of older songs I hardly ever play that I've reworked, new songs, and then bespoke musical material for this. It's holiday season, and for me that's a good time to reflect on who we are by looking at past versions of ourselves. If you get it right, it can be a very emotional show to put on.